Good afternoon. My name is Katie Compton LaRoe. I am a realtor here in Charleston, South Carolina. I formerly came from New York and New Jersey area, where I was a banker in the city and a financial analyst, and with a little bit of dabble in education. So this is a blog post that I wrote a number of years ago for my blog, Katie's blog, The Art of Living. And now I'm re-upping it, so to speak, and posting it on Katie's channel, The Art of Living, on YouTube, and with dissemination onto my social media platforms. It's a series of stories that I wrote, blog posts that I wrote, that really speak to me. And every time I read them, I just get so happy. So this one is about the power of home. And it's about a visit that I made to my former house in Mountain Lakes, New Jersey, at a point where things were a little low in my life. I hope it brings you joy. It certainly does to me. It makes me walk through the house and see it all over again every time I read it. So I hope you enjoy this and you tune back into my channel as I post some subsequent blog posts and am able to give you a space to really enjoy and to relax into. So here it is. It's called The Power of Home. My beloved Dutch door was still there, as was the pegged floor in my bedroom, the view from the back window looking over the house where my first friends used to yell out from the third-story window. I could feel myself as I grasped the railing coming down to the kitchen and sat on the same stair as I had just after my terrifying nightmare on long multiplication, hearing my father comfort me, telling me it would be all right. I met myself again. I really didn't know it as I walked through my childhood home the other day. I was on my way to work, but realized there was an open house at my home, just past where I turned to go to the highway. As I came to the intersection, the thought came to me, and I continued a short bit, pulled along the side of the same road, right next to the tree, bigger now, where I used to call my mother to come and cross me. Walking down the drive, it felt like the nearly 40 years had never passed. Up the front steps with memories and thoughts assaulting my head. I rang the doorbell and no one came, so I turned the handle and the door was open. It was an open house after all, so I invited myself inside. No one was there. For the next 10 minutes or so, I had the house to myself. Like so many times before, I soaked in everything as I wandered from room to room, over those well-trod floors, into the living room where I had danced with the music turned up loud, hung stockings, and gazed out the bay windows, dreaming of the world beyond. Into the dining room where so many birthdays were celebrated, my sweet 16, great times around the table with my daddy telling stories, spinning math problems to solve, and mother holding court, managing us all from her place at the head of the table. Teaching us by example, always teaching us, although she didn't really know it. I could go on and on. It is amazing what power it all holds. I could and did to the real estate agent when she came, describe every nook and cranny, why everything was there, things my father had built and ideas my mother had dreamed as they built their home fresh and young in their 20s with a long life in front of them. And as I left, I felt a powerful sense of peace, of calm, of returning to myself. And so the day went on. I went to work and continued with the chores of the day. I wasn't even aware that the universe had shifted for me. I didn't know that something had been stirred in my soul, that a new day was dawning for me. As I drove home that night, I was reflecting on being once again in my home. And as I did, I felt a great anger spring up inside of me. It was like a fire burning very hot and brightly, like those fires on the lawn when we burned the leaves when I was a child. I could almost feel the flames and I could see them now in my mind. It was a light bulb moment for me, but that sounds too trite to me now, a revelation, a profound realization forged in a searing way on my psyche. I felt like my true self was exposed, not in a negative way, but in a freeing way. I felt the anger of having not lived that way every moment until this moment, but energized and free to live that way going forward, to really be myself, that little girl that dreamed in my home, that young woman getting on the bus to slay the dragons of New York City, that proud mother of 3, and now just me, just me. What a miracle. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode, and I hope you tune back in. It's Katie's channel, The Art of Living. Thank you.